What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for July 28th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Sunday edition of the podcast. We have some breaking Phillies news. They traded for relief pitcher Carlos Estavez from the Angels, giving up their number 5 and their number 7 prospects, both young pitchers. And I'm okay with this. I know a lot of people were, that's too much to give up for him. They could have gotten other guys for the same price. I'm okay with this, even though he's a rental. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Likely will not be back. Dombrowski said it would be great if we could sign him. We'll just have to see how the rest of the season plays out. However, it is what it is. They're going all in. They address the need. And it does appear, according to Dombrowski, likely no more moves are going to come. So this is what you see is what you get. And I'm okay with it. I mean, they didn't need to tweak much. They addressed some needs with Austin Hayes and now Carlos Estavez, and they addition by subtraction, getting rid of Pache, who was just taking up a roster spot for the most part, and Sir Anthony Dominguez, who just could not be trusted in any situations. So now you don't have to put as much pressure on Alvarado. I'm okay with it. And again, prospects are prospects. And too often we overvalue them. They didn't have to give up the big guys that nobody wanted that were untouchable, as everybody said. Maybe they overpaid a little bit, but you're going to have to probably do that at some point because you had a clear need. They got one of the best guys that were available. So I'm fine with it. He's all in. And it seems like as soon as they made that trade, the Phillies bats turned it on yesterday. 8-0. Schwarber, Bryce, Nick Castellanos, and Brandon Marsh all hit homers. Hopefully they save some for today when we go down there on Kyle Schwarber Beach Towel Day. But the story of the day was Tyler Phillips, man. It was so cool to see him go and pitch a complete game shutout. Hometown South Jersey dude. Like, we were so into it. Like, wanted him to get that shutout. The crowd was outstanding down there. And kudos to Tyler Phillips, who has been money filling in that 5th spot for Turnbull and Tawan, who knows what's going on with Tawan. But, man, Tyler Phillips, what a just incredible, 100% incredible. You love to see that. I think they said it was the first time a Philly had pitched a complete game shutout since like 2016. So it's just, like I said, cool to see him in front of his hometown crowd. His parents were in the crowd. It was just an awesome, awesome thing. And the bats woke up. They're going to need them today because Ranger Suarez was placed on the injured or the IL. They called up Kobe Allard, and he will pitch today. And it does look like the Guardians are pitching. I couldn't tell whether it was a bullpen or they called somebody up to pitch for this game. So hopefully we'll see a lot of runs scored. Maybe Allard. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that? But they need the offense to continue to hit lights out like they did last night. But overall, great night for the Phils. They picked up a relief pitcher, Carlos Estavez, for their 5th and 7th prospect in the system. Tyler Phillips was the hero. The bats woke up. Bryce hit his 100th career home run at Citizens Bank Park. Just an overall great day to be a Philly fan. And that leads us to a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, should we be concerned with the Phillies, or is this just a blip on the radar? And everybody was split. It was 50-50 right down the middle between it's a blip and major cause for concern. I bet most of those votes were prior to last night's game as well as the trade. So I would love to know how you're feeling now. 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. How are we feeling about the Phils? And that does lead us to today's question of the day. Based on what they just did this week, how are we feeling compared to this time last week? Are we feeling a little bit better? Are we feeling the same? Or are we feeling worse? Get that vote in. 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off your chest. You can always hit me up on the social media, Jimbo_Mont at Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you got to do. But let me know, how are we feeling now compared to last week? Better, worse, or the same? I'm feeling a little bit better. I feel like they shored up the bullpen. And I've been saying it for a couple months now that Alvarado's been giving me Mitch Williams vibes. Hopefully now Estavez is going to be able to take that. And then you got Hoffman, Strahm. I'm good with the way the bullpen is now. But how are we feeling? Better, worse, or the same? 267-495-8531 will get you in. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, Jimbo_Mont, even if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. But if you are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like, subscribe, all that other good stuff. All of those things play into the algorithm and help the podcast out. Philly Goat, in honor of Austin Hayes, they released a Von Hayes t-shirt. You can get that over at phillygoat.com. 10% of those proceeds benefit the Darren Daulton Foundation. They got the Hugh Douglas shirt. And again, this is the way this company has been doing this recently is amazing, helping out charities. You get the Hugh Douglas shirt. It helps out his son's foundation that gives scholarships to students at Morehouse. You have the Kruk and T-Mac for president in 24. That goes toward the Battle Brothers. So if you're feeling charitable, go to phillygoat.com. Be sure to use that promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. And then listen and check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences. Their new baseball episode is out. That's available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. All right, so the Union, stay hot. They beat Charlotte 1-0 in their opening game of the group play for the Leagues Cup. Let's keep it rolling. They play Cruz Azul from Liga MX on Sunday, a week from today. Hopefully, with a win there, they'll be able to move on. But they've been able to keep it rolling. So hopefully, they're going to be able to use this Leagues Cup tournament to propel them into the MLS regular season. Not a lot happened at Eagles camp yesterday, but I will say Elliott Shores Park. Jalen looked good again. He's been very sharp. He's been able to find the receivers and looks like he's in command of the offense. Kellen Moore had a press conference and said the same thing. So maybe he's able to step it up and really prove that he is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And apparently the defense played better yesterday, pass rushing wise. So he was finally put under a little bit of pressure and still was able to excel. And if you remember, that was part of the issue last year with picking up blitzes and things like that. So all good things coming out of Eagles camp. Like I said, I'm so bullish on this team. So, and of course I am, because that's what I do apparently. As I said that, I'm like, oh, I've said that about every single team so far. But hey, man, I'm a fan. What do you want from me? All right, today we're going to go back to 1993. And on this day, 1993, Phillies beat the Cardinals 14-6 at the Vet. Terry Mulholland struggled by giving up 4 runs in the first inning, settled down, ended up going 7 that day. Phillies battled back, led by Darren Daulton. He went 2 for 3, 2 walks, a grand slam, and a triple. So 6 RBI total for Darren Daulton that day. Dave Hollins also knocked in 3 runs. And the Phillies went up 6 games on the Cardinals. And that was key because the Cardinals, for most of the first 3 quarters of the season, were the team that was the closest to the Phillies. And this is basically the largest lead. And this series almost knocked the Cardinals out of contention because they were never able to get closer than 6 games. And it ended up being the Expos that finished second that year. A lot of people forget about that. The Expos came on hot at the end of the season. The Phillies only won the division by 3 games because of how hot the Expos played. And then, if you remember, the following year, the strike year, the Expos probably were going to win the World Series if the season didn't get canceled. But sucks for them. But on this day in 1993, Phillies beat the Cardinals 14-6, led by Darren Daulton, 6 RBI, and Dave Hollins knocking in 3 of his own. and were able to pick up Terry Mulholland, who struggled in the first inning. But that was on this day in 1993. The Phillies had extended their lead over the Cardinals to 6 games, and the Cards just would never get closer than 6 games the rest of the season. All right, finally today, our Philly Olympic Spotlight. We're going to look at Nick Mead, who is from Stratford, Pennsylvania, which is in Radnor Township down on the main line. He is an Olympic rower. He participated in previous Olympics in the men's 8, 2 silvers in world championship play. He went to Princeton and is a Princeton grad, went to Episcopal Academy, and this year he's rowing in the men's 4. In fact, he is probably on the water as we speak. As I'm recording this, he is out there. So hopefully if you're able to catch this and you get to see a local guy, Nick Mead, compete in rowing in the Olympics. But that is our Philly Olympic Spotlight. Nick Mead from Stratford, a rower looking to bring home the gold in the men's 4 that started this morning at 7 a.m. So he is currently on the water, hopefully bringing home the gold. On this day in 1993, Phils beat the Cardinals 14-6 behind Darren Daulton and Dave Hollins, extending that lead to 6 games and essentially knocking the Cardinals out of the division race. We'll have more on Eagles camp tomorrow, although I think they're off today. I could be wrong, but I think they're off. But, training camp, there's always stories coming out. Be sure to vote on the question of the day. And let me know, how are we feeling? Are we feeling better, worse, the same about the Phillies now that they've added Austin Hayes and Carlos Estavez? I'm feeling a lot better. I feel more comfortable with it, even if it's Rojas and Marsh platooning in center, I feel way more confident of one of those guys coming off the bench than Pache. And I think the Pache experience just didn't work out, and it is what it is. And I do feel better with Estavez, providing some stability in that bullpen. They're probably going to need it today with Kobe Allard, but hey, maybe the young kid will be able to prove us wrong and put on a gem similar to what Tyler Phillips did. I just need the offense today. And if you are betting, I like to give out some bets every now and then. I do like the Phillies on the money line today. So take that with a grain of salt and do with it what you will. But get your vote in for the question of the day. How are we feeling? Better, worse, the same? 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. Be sure to check out Philly GOAT, Clashing Conferences, all that other good stuff. And we will be back tomorrow. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for July 28th, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery, heading to the Phillies game. Hopefully I'm coming back with a W. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.